everyone, it's Teresa Green from Slow Paths Wellness, and this is Mindful Monday. Now, I'm actually recording this on a Sunday, and I have my clinic open on Sunday most days. Today, we're going to talk about using mindfulness to choose your response to what happens in the outside world around you. And the reason I'm dressed in my jammies is because today is a snow day for me, like for many people in my part of the country. So normally I would be in clinic, I would be seeing patients, and I would be doing all the things that I normally do, trying to help people with their health issues. But today the snow came in a way that made it wiser just to close up. Now, because this is our second snow in about a couple weeks, this is not my normal, yay, snow day, I feel like a kid in school again. This is kind of more of an inconvenience and a little bit of an annoyance for me. But as I've gone through my mindfulness practice, I've learned that one of the great tools of mindfulness is learning to reframe what's happening. So when something happens, whether it's a snow day or being stuck in traffic or a long line or an unexpected expense or somebody says something to you that is not friendly or makes you unhappy, that being able to take a moment and pause, which we've talked about a lot on other videos, so I'm not going to talk a lot about that now, but take a moment and pause, and then after the pause, choose how to reframe what's happening so that you're able to work with it in the best way possible. So we've been hearing about the snow for a week, and it has gone from being perhaps, the storm of the century almost, to being almost nothing. And it was very hard to make the decision to close because the information I was getting was very hard to decide whether it really was necessary to close or not. But I finally decided, just to be safe, just to be on the safe side, because I don't want to fall down, I don't want to slip and slide, and I certainly don't want my patients to. So I made the choice to close, and then I had to, contact my patients and let them know. And at first, it was annoying. But as I decided to use the mindfulness that I teach other people, I sat with it for a little bit and thought, okay, there's some annoyance here, but it's a snow day. And what are all the good things about snow? What are the ways that I can reframe this so that I can have the opportunities that I want to have for today? And I had to fix my kind of do-it-yourself lighting there for just a second. So first I thought, okay, snow is absolutely beautiful, especially when it's first falling down. And one of the things that I've really decided to do for myself in the coming year is to really enjoy the things that are enjoyable and to make time for that. So I actually went outside as it started snowing, and now I did not make a snowman or anything like that, but I did some stuff out in the garden that is kind of the background work that you do before things are planted. And I got to be out there in the snow and hear that kind of quiet that comes when the snow comes down. My husband and I came in and we watched a movie. We even had popcorn, which is a rare treat for me. And I also did a couple things here in the house that were business related, so I didn't have a no business day today, but I was able to kind of catch up on a couple things that I'd been wanting to do. And part of the way I was able to do that is I made time to enjoy myself. So I have a seed catalog that I told you about in the last video last week, and I'm going through that. I finished my first run of going through that. I put on some fun clothes so I'm comfortable and able to do my work without having to feel like I had to, hold myself a certain way for my clothes I was wearing. I limited the time I spent on the computer so that even though I did get tired from it, I didn't get exhausted. And I was able to kind of space out my time so that I got a little bit of fun, a little bit of work, a little bit of housework, creative kind of things. I did some cooking that was fun. And I really gave myself time to enjoy that process. So one of the other things I'm working on enjoying things that are enjoyable, but I'm also working on specifically reframing work. Work from being an obligation to being an opportunity. And so part of that means making it as much as it's in my power to do it, making it something that I can enjoy. And part of that for me is building patience with it, because I'll have things I want to do and I want to do all the things and check off everything on my list. And the problem is, a lot of times that means that I feel rushed all the time, and I don't want to do that. So part of my mindfulness practice is looking at the things I want to do and trying to cut that list in half almost immediately because I always over attempt the things that I want to do. And then really work on just accepting that things take time. Working on the computer takes time because computers are supposed to be time-saving devices, but a lot of times you have to fiddle with them a lot to get them to be that. And working in the idea of when I take a break, make it a real break. Get away from the computer, get away from Facebook, get something fun to do or read, or if I switch activities, switch to an activity that I'm going to either enjoy the activity itself or really enjoy the product of that activity, like I do with laundry. So in your own life, in your own practice, when something happens and you're kind of thrown a curveball, if there's a way, now I know there's some things that are like real tragedies where you're just not necessarily going to be able to do this, but when it's more of an inconvenience, when it's something that you don't enjoy, that you weren't looking for, and it wasn't how you wanted it to go, but you can reframe it, do what you can for that. Stop, pause, acknowledge how you feel about it, whether it's annoyed or frantic or nervous or sad or frustrated or whatever. Try to find the most detailed words you can, because there's some things, especially Brene Brown's talking about very recently in her latest book, about how important it is in processing emotion to actually name it correctly. So if you're frustrated and instead you say you're sad, then you won't get the same benefit out of processing the emotions, because part of your body goes, no, actually, you're not saying the right word. If you're enraged and you say, I'm a little miffed, that's the same thing. Your body's going, no, there's a lot more in here than what you're giving me credit for. By the same token, if you say you're devastated, you're really just a little disappointed. Sometimes, especially for people with chronic illness, we tend to feel like we really have to state very strongly the things that are wrong, because a lot of times we haven't been validated and haven't been listened to and haven't been believed when we were talking about our health problems. And I found, for myself at least, that a lot of times I'll sit down when I'm tired and say, I'm just exhausted. And I've started questioning that, because a lot of times I'm not exhausted, I'm just tired, or I'm bored, or I'm frustrated, or I'm impatient. And getting more clear about that has really helped me a lot in handling the things that come up in life. So you can do the same thing. We're going to fix my light again. You can do the same thing. You can decide to first name exactly what it is you're feeling, and then decide what you want to do with that. Do you want to journal about how you're feeling? Do you want to just completely reframe it? Do you want to decide that being stuck in traffic, okay, I'm stuck in traffic, well, that means that I can sing my favorite song. If you set it before you start driving, you can have your phone or your radio playing something that you like to have, and so then when you're stopped in traffic, you get to listen to more stuff. You can think about a favorite person. You can look around in the cars while you're waiting and being very careful and driving very attentively. You can look around the cars and see, are there any little babies peeking out the window, or are there, pets peeking out the window, or are there interesting things to see? Or you can sit while you're in the traffic and think about a problem that you wanted to solve, and not think about it from a chew on it anxiety style, but from an actual meditating on it and trying to come to a resolution. Any problem like that, you can reframe how you're handling it, you can reframe what you think about it, and you can make it work for you. You can also just take time when something happens, like happened for me. I can't go to work, so I can have a fun day. I can rearrange my work schedule a little bit, and I can have some fun in my day and some checking off things that are fun for me but are also work. So when you get a curveball, think about how you feel, pause, feel that feeling, however you need to do that, whether that's journaling or just acknowledging it before you move on, and then reframe so that you're actually having fun with your day, or your 10-minute wait, or whatever it is that's come the wrong way. That's not come the way that you planned for it to come. And then once you reframe it, you can have a more peaceful, more enjoyable time with something that's more of an unexpected bonus instead of a disappointment. So this Mindful Monday is a wee bit of a wandering kind of thing, because I'm on a snow day, so I'm not going to be quite as focused as maybe I sometimes am. But I hope that you're able to take this information, and when something comes at you that isn't what you expect, you're able to have some tools now to deal with it. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week.